Hello everyone, welcome to another modeling video. So before we start, somebody commented that my designs are looking a bit samey in the last few weeks. And I took a look at my post and I agree. And that is because I've been using the add-ons mostly for designing background assets, and since background assets don't need to be particularly uh, heavily designed or supposed to be just a quick iteration of a design that you can put in the background. And I've been using random flow to drive most of the shapes and not necessarily um, manually model most of the design. So yeah, they kind of look samey, which is kind of my fault because yeah, I've been using it mostly to create background assets and not necessarily on hero subjects or domain subjects where you would design them or design most of the shapes manually and not procedurally using something like generative auto generative gribble add-ons like random flow. Okay, so what we're going to do in this video instead is not use random flow to drive the main shape of the design, but use it strategically and try to model a hero subject. And I will take this opportunity to um, display some of the power of the other add-ons like ready flow and random, not random, panel cut. Okay, so yeah. Um, the reason being that I was mostly creating background assets and displaying the functionality of the add-ons for that is that using primitive shapes is a lot faster. Okay, let's do this on the side. Because the initial modeling phase for the base mesh, because it's using primitive, just basic shapes, it's faster for demoing on social media, and a lot of the video content would actually just show the add-ons and not necessarily the modeling side, the manual modeling side um, of the video or of the model. Okay, so auto mirror and also gives me a lot more time for real life stuff, and I get to focus on coding and trying to make the add-ons better. But that doesn't mean that we can, of course, model past that. So we're going to, yeah, create a something like a sci-fi battery or something. So I mostly just left the modeling side of 3D and just focused on scripting. So that's why you don't see me. So that's why you just see me gribbling with simple base mesh all the time. Let's use shade auto smooth and inset. I use inset a lot instead of extrusion because with extrusion E and scale like that, if you extrude something like this shape, oh, E and then scale, the scaling doesn't look right. See? But with inset I and press Control 2, with inset the extrusions happens when you press Control. But first it creates a margin, and then you can extrude this or raise it up using Control and drag. And the scaling happens on the first phase. Instead of extrusion, and then when you scale like that, doesn't scale evenly. It scales on the average location of all the selected elements, whereas within sets, it just scales properly. Okay, should probably go back. I should probably go back creating tutorials for Blender again. I'm just getting discouraged by there's a lot of content creators that's Blender content creators that's already doing that. So um, I like to do it, but YouTube is already saturated with a bunch of those. And I don't have to. I really don't have time to edit videos. And most people like short tutorials, and the attention span is getting shorter and shorter because of uh, things like video reels and TikTok. Let's create an intersect object here. Scale it. So we're going to use Creative Flow a lot, and also Final Cut. And this is also how I design my um, cylinders, vent cylinders in the store. So let's try and array this fast circle array, and in the Y, 18. And I'll show you how to merge this into a single object later. I guess we can mirror this in the XY. Let's just try and use XYZ. Wait, yes, there we go. So we're going to mark out so this is going to be where we're going to use random flow to create some sort of inner mechanism. And let's also do an array right here. Add intersect object. So the original premise for random flow is really to create concept art. Although you can use it to, with a change in workflow, you can use it to create stuff for games and movies. This as well. The cursor and line some line and edge loop. This and inset, give it a little margin, and then bring it down. So in the original PDF of Random Flow, it's all about truly made the add-ons for people to have fun with it and not basically think too much. Just create a simple base mesh, you dribble stuff, and then create a bunch of those, and then populate the scene with it. And then, yeah, be happy with your little exercise. So set, and then bring it down. There we go. What is this? There's a shading error. Can you see that? Right here? What's that? Double? Yep. Why is there 34? Okay. So, um, what else? We need, or we can use random flow here to supply um, just your basic edge cut or panel cut. Increase the distance. Use single value for the depth and bring it down. Change this to on. Okay. And let's look for a usable pattern. This could work. Yeah, this could work. Mark sharp only. Oh my, yeah, still haven't fixed it. Okay. Don't use by angle. Use flat. Don't use this if you're using mark sharp only. For now, just until I can get the fix. Okay, we can use this or use something like 25. Sometimes finding a pattern that you can use is okay. Let's use this mark sharp only and select the result. Then we're gonna edit this. Mark sharp. Sharp. Select everything. Use panel cut. Inset. Undo. The power of undo. Mark sharp. That. Why is that? Oh, this one's not. Doesn't have a wasn't marked sharp. Marked sharp. Selecting everything. Marked sharp. I guess we can use this, but let me just slide this over here so it doesn't create banding on the middle. Okay. Di po sa iyo nagkuhan. Okay, that's we can also do margin. We could just merge it, the object. Yes. And shadow smooth. There we go. We have our auto cuts. You can still select the top faces, and in order to push it up or down, you can use Alt S like this. And let's do the same thing here. This part. So we're not even using subdivision. We're just using the natural resolution of the source object. Okay, we can try with this. Mark sharp only. Wait a minute. Oh, you can actually just try shape repetition. So I'm using the power of undo to preview and then um, get back to the original form of the mesh. Sharp, sharp. So the lines need to be contiguous, meaning that the edges should always, the endpoints of all these mark sharp edges should always end on either non-manifold edges or edges that are also marked sharp. So don't make edges that are not contiguous like this, or mark sharp edges that are not contiguous. So they don't end up like that. They need to be always connecting to non-manifold edge or um, edges that are also marked sharp. So non-manifold edges basically is are the terminator edges that ends in nothing, right? Like this one. Okay, let's make a line right here. You can see that with hero models, takes a lot more time. Yeah, I think we can use this shade or smooth. So we have our, so we're basically just filling in the primary shape with, or some of the more relaxed areas with a bit of paneling detail. Okay, so this one, should I uh, maybe just leave this one as like that? No need to overcomplicate the design. Then we have to do this. Run panels. Just use the, or in this case, I'm just going to use the, actually, use the original, what you call this, resolution. Actually, the, let's create a face, or extract the faces from that to use for marking the edge using panel cut. So random flow and creative flow both have extract faces. The only difference that is that random flows doesn't have the solidify feature, and I think also made the mirror. But this is mostly used for creating proxy meshes for asymmetry when doing asymmetry for the rebels. So you can extract something from any side of a mirrored object, then detail that so you have asymmetrical detail. Press X to make the, oops, Z to undo. There's no redo, just undo. Then space to confirm. Then we have it. Then we can establish the mirror using creative flow or random flow. Random flow also has auto mirror and it functions the same as the creative flows. And it's there so as a bonus. So you don't have, even if you just decide to buy random flow, you still have an option to use auto mirror. But it is, that functionality is from uh, Creative Flow originally, or iStools Pro and Cuber. Mark sharp, mark sharp. Okay, let's do something like this. Oh no. Oh, okay. Oh, we can. This up. Inset. Oh, oh, the boundary. Inset. Disable the boundary by pressing B. Mark sharp. Don't mark sharp the middle part. Oh, what am I doing? Select every face, then inset. and fix the depth. Oh, the thickness and shade auto smooth. There you go. So we can mark it. I think when you use slides to just the- let's use a lower thickness and shade auto smooth. Let's move this detail back a bit. There we go. Okay, actually push it down using Alt S2, but there's a mesh underneath, so we can't really push it that much. Okay, so let's do a bunch of dribbles on this part to create an illusion of inner mechanism, and we're going to use, let's try with random loop extrude, three loops walk, three loops walk, sort of shade. Okay, and I think the thickness is too high, or the model is probably too small or big. So just edit the panel size. This one, the ratio 80%, and inset depth still looking too big. The wait a minute, wait a minute. I did select the three wax random shade, um, but it's not working. Ah, wax resource. Let's use square and use 80% ratio, and then you can see here there's some of the faces are pinching too much. That's because the inset thickness is too high. We'll use 0.001, and for the height, I think we can settle with that. And let's try increasing the resolution. The panel size, okay, it's in percentage. And we could, like that, to hint at some sort of circuitry or panels inside. Let's try and use walk for the first loop object. There we go. So just hinting at some sort of a circuitry or mechanism inside. Then we can I can play around with the patterns or the resulting randomization using the global seed. So this is the symmetry line. This is the split of the symmetry line. We can get rid of that by increasing the distance right here. Okay. And then we don't have to, we can just settle with Just this one. What's this really big? I think this is the third loop object. Yes. So we're going to give it three panel size. We can also independently increase its resolution using this, but let's not do that. Okay, so yeah, we can go with this. I think that looks good. Not too chaotic, and it's still trying to say to the brain that it looks kind of like a circuit or some functional mechanism inside, and that it doesn't look like a dribble or something. Um, let's fix the. Okay, let's try this one. So yeah, I'm mostly just coding now. So if you my modeling skills are actually sometimes a bit rusty, but as you can see, it is possible. It is quite possible for using the add-ons on a hero of the main subject where the manual design takes more priority. Let's create the same inner mechanism look here and play around with the subdivision. Make this a bit. Don't worry about the resolution. We can bring it down using limit dissolve. And as for the oh, I forgot for the UV. If you finish with the base mesh and you're ready for the randomization of some parts using to grable some of the areas, you need to UV your base mesh first because the randomization basically just uses the mesh or the faces from the source mesh. It will inherit those faces, thereby inheriting also the UV, except for the faces on the sides, like this one here. But for the top faces, it will inherit the UVs. But that will make it easier for you to uh, procedurally shade the um, the resulting randomization. And okay, so we need to let's try this one. Walk and then longest or shortest. So that's the longest. And I'm going to use square here and increase this to 5. And also walk here. Or square, not walk. Squares, walk, square, square, and then like that. Random, random smoothing. Then we just play around with the seed number. 4015, 0.02. Okay. Again, I think this one's a bit better. It's not too chaotic. There you go. A perfect mix of big and small shapes. That's what we want. There you go. It looks much better, and it looks more convincing. So play around with the uh, random seed some more, and also consider the subtlety of the design. I mean the if you're doing the dribbling for the hero subject, then consider just the subtlety of the dribble compared to, let's say, what I've been using it for most of my videos, which is letting the dribbles drive most of the design. Okay, just some simple stuff here. We'll do another intersect object here, and then design it and a circle array Y and 6. Auto mirror X, Y, and Z. Okay. And going to change the design. Oops. Fly F and reestablish the mirror. X, Y, and Z. Shade adjustment. Okay. Now we can create stuff like bolts or screws. Select the top here. Shift Q, utility, Alt, and then press the button. Select the faces and custom captive. There we go. Radius and then margin. Do not use mirror. So it doesn't create screws on the sharp corners of the symmetry line. So you can see here that it has different rotation. For added realism, you can, of course, do that. Then select the face here, Shift Q, utility, Alt, then press on the, and then click on the final screws operator to select all the faces that have the angle normal threshold of 30 degrees as the selected faces, then custom adapted. And there are reversed, so limit dissolve. Can fix that. Okay. Then we just repeat that all over the mesh. Boom, boom. Alt click. And I can do alt click here. Nope. uh, Nope. This one. So it makes sense for this one. Okay. Just create a screw for this part and this part. And we're going to delete the ones that we don't need. Okay. So let's not use the Alt key feature and just click on the operator. Custom captive. The margin. Here's the margin. There we go. Then selecting the uh, screws. Select the ones that we need. Going to wireframe view and selecting all the faces or the verts, the edges. Control I to invert and X F delete the faces. There we go. And I think also for this one. Oh no, what happened to the symmetry? Oh, auto mirror X. Yo, what happened to your symmetry? X, Y, and Z. There we go. This one, I'll click. What else? This one right here. This, and this, and this. I'll, oh, and this one as well. I'll click, select custom, and captain. Oops. Apparently this one already has. You can also do it in object mode. I'll click, um, it reset. Why is that? There you go. Screw, tiny screw details. Okay, let's give it some texture. Shift G, T to select. Select a mesh, Shift G, then select all types, which is mesh. All similar types, which is the mesh. And then run over this color, not that one, and then island, or maybe sharp. You can use sharp. Oops. No. And this should have the same value all throughout. So use object and probably, there you go. Also this one, object, and this one, object. Actually, yeah. And then shift Q, mesh, shading, up in material, shift GT, control shift X, materials, assign material, our flown metal. Okay, rendered. There you go. We have our uh, mini compact sci-fi something battery. Okay, let's change the little, it's looking a little too dusky. Let's change the, I think the dirt is way too, the edge wear is way too strong. You can see the reflection. Okay, let's just try this one. And let's edit the material. So edge mask, one strength and 0.005. Noise scale, something like 40. And this is to break it up. Okay, scratches, uh, perfect scale. This one, maybe just a bit. scale of 2, and reduce the saturation. Copy this to this, Control C, Control V, and this one is going to be the vertex color we created using random vertex color. You need to have Node Wrangler turned on or enabled or downloaded for this submenu to appear. Then Control Shift click to preview the main shader. Also, Node Wrangler feature. There we go. So the effect of the shaders are more subtle. And metallic. There we go. So the HDRI is looking a little bit boring. So let's change that to something more colorful. Okay, this one. We use the vertex color. Let's try color ramp. Oh my god. This doesn't have so random vertex color islands. So there's no island. Sharp. Oh my god. Mark sharp. There you go. And this one as well. This one. Sharp. There you go. So like very subtle difference in shading, but that's enough too. There we go. Okay, so we're just going to input some lights. But first, we can actually modify the bevel 0.01. Increase that 0.01. Yeah, 0.01. Let's introduce some lights. This one here. Oops. Vertex colored material, but we're not using vertex color, so just create a simple material. Emit, name it to emit, and X. Change it to emission. Mm. And if you amplify the strength of the emission, it loses the saturation of the color. See, but you can still see it on the faces that is reflecting the light. But the light itself becomes whiter or brighter. So to see, but the light intensity is too weak. So you need to find the best value. Okay, you know, assign it on different faces of the mesh using Creative Flow. Control Shift X, assign material, emit. So it just makes it easier for you to assign stuff. And this one as well. No, where is the no? Okay. Let's create some procedural lights for this for this click 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 click. Yes, I get them all. Shift H. Click on this one. Materials, duplicate material, random metal 001. Okay. We're gonna also create what you call this? Um a light effect for this. But first, select everything and assign the duplicated material. Okay. So let's increase the Intensity of this light. Okay. Smart UV project. The lights are too small, so let's make it bigger. And then you can randomize the position using this one. Alt H. There you go. So let's use the same color as this one here. Control C on the color bar. In here, Control V on the color bar. Then we can play around with the look. Okay, add me. This one's good. And we can also add ambient occlusion for this. Let's try it. Let's try the ambient occlusion to give a more effects for the lights or the inner mechanism. Look, add, then input, ambient occlusion, use the AO, and color ramp, backspace to bring it to the default value. Also a node wrangler feature. Be sure to install that or download that. And the color, we're going to paste it on the color step 1. And let's see the result. Okay, probably need to reverse this. There we go. And set it to only local. So it only affects the AO only affects its own shape in a particular mesh and not consider the shape of other objects around it. And yeah, I think that looks good. We're going to use the same material here. I think there we go. Same material and our full meters 0.001. Should have named it. Okay, so we have our a nice little light there. You can also break it up using multiplied texture in this connection here. Let's see inside. Oh, there we go. Now let's go back with hopefully we can try and create handles here. No. Okay, let's go to finally Final Cut. Final Cut has a secret function, which is to create outer mesh using the selected faces. So if you hover over the operator, you will see the tooltip. Create paneling details from mark sharp edges, and it says control click on the operator to use floater preset. It means that it's going to use the inset and configure this properties here to give you at a default setting something like this. So select a face or faces. So for example, this one. Control and then click on the operator. Press control and click on the operator. Just click on the inset and you get this one here. It's black because it has no vertex color. So let's go back to object, not that object. And you see here the result. Let's go back and reuse the operator. So it Basically fixes creates its own setting for the outer thick depth inset and also inset depth to create this look. See, and when you render it, it looks like it's part of the mesh underneath. Really cool effect, and we can use that create a bunch of stuff like that all around the mesh without actually without actually editing the or disturbing the topology. Instead, we can use bevel. We have margin here. We can increase the bevel segment. Let's say 4. And when you render this, you can see that it looks like it's part of the mesh underneath. And that is because the setting has also turned off these particular settings in cycles. This only works in cycles, by the way. So in here in object properties, in the properties window, go to visibility. You can see that if we click this object right here, it has turned off everything here except for the camera. And if we try to turn them on, you can see that it now loses that look, especially if you turn off shadows. There you go. Now you can see that it's a different object just floating atop the surface of this of our main model. But if we turn this off, you can see that in most angles, you can see that it looks like it is a part of the mesh. Okay, so this is this embossed or debossed? Embossed detail, I think. But you can still try the debossed. Anyway, I'm saying it right. Debossed detail. So, for example, paano cut? Oops. You don't have to when you use the control click feature. You don't have to use it anymore. The settings have been already been set to that particular feature. So just use inset. Why did it go back to attribute? Run the object F9 hotkey. So we can turn this. We can just raise it up instead of being. I think this is it. There we go. And when you render this, it also looks like part of the mesh. But it's actually elevated a bit from the surface. Look at that. And that is the same but with the boss detail, you can actually not raise it up and use it to actually push the thing into the mesh underneath it. But for this effect, for the emboss detail, you need to raise it up because the top faces have been pushed because the top what the top faces, which is this one here, has been pushed down. So you need to raise it up from the source mesh. Okay, so let's create that those kind of details here. But we have already have this, so we can't really try it here. Maybe this part here, final cut, inset. There you go. And it also inherits the mirror modifier. I think it will also work here. Inset, but instead let's drive it down. Yeah. can also create holes like that, and you can use it to um, create details that will not disturb the underlying topology. Where's the real mesh of this? Okay, let's create one here. And that is the bevel. So let's reduce that to avoid the clump or overlap. And then I think this is the thickness right here. Okay, depth, adjust that as well. There you go. So you can create a bunch of this. This is very useful if you have a, for example, a already fabricated model, and you don't want to edit the or destroy your the topology, but you needed to actually just create a um, another version of that design. But again, you don't want to edit the topology, so you can use this technique to create some variation on the model. Look at that. And whatever you see in render, if you see it like this, you can, for example, like this one, you can bake it to your normal map. This look right here, you can bake it to your normal map. You can build a base mesh, you can bake a bake to mesh over it, and this look will be baked by the your baker. Well, I'm speaking with the Cycles bake, of course. I don't know about the other regions, but with Cycles, you can bake this look, whatever you see in the viewport or the render. Okay, let's create a rib-like redesign here. But first, we're going to extract the faces. Press X to some kind of a rib design. Oops. Z to undo. There is no redo. Okay. And space confirm X Z Y. The red part denotes the original geometry. And I'm going to get rid, oops, there's part here as well. I'm going to get rid of the solidify modifier, so toggle off the solidify. And then remove this, create a boundary here, and create a bunch of evenly spaced edge loops here. And oops, why is it? So the boundary needs to adjust to the shape of this. So E and F. You can see the red line here, a red dot. So if you press E, you can choose which of the surrounding edges, uh, the shape of the surrounding edges you can take, or you can copy to your edge cut. So in this case, you can see that the small red dot appeared right here. We can switch it up using the F hotkey and just copy the shape of this. So you can see that the initial shape of this is the average of the shape of these two surrounding edges. When I press E, it copies this one because of the red dot is right there. Press F to switch to the other side, which is straighter. And there you go. And the edge loop that you cut between this one, because they're both straight, their average shape, of course, will be straight also. So that's one way to do it. And I'm just going to select this one. Final cut, inset, raise the depth. one of the bevel. Let's bring it down and raise it up using the outer thickness. Bring it down until we meet the sharpness and the thickness, I think. Yeah. Oh, that's because of the topology. Okay, because of this one here. Yep. Okay. Inset and use this. Let's try and use the original setup. Control click, inset. There we go. And table offset. Um, probably not. No margin. Hmm. That is a fail. Why is it? Yep, that's a. Oh my god. Tailor smooth and 5 degrees or 15 degrees and assign the same material. There we go. Um, Process get a bit chaotic that time, but yeah. So this we can create those effects using panel cuts. And as you can see, with in this view, you can, however, see the effect just losing its. But at some distance, you can hardly notice it. Okay, so I'm just going to create some extrusion to this to disturb this initial to really put it to break the outside space of this design or outside profile. I'm gonna put it this way. Draw faces C to create the draw object right there. Whoops. And a points. Yeah, 9 of Oh, see, there we go. X, Y, and Z. And push it here. GG to slide. I always enjoy that. GG. And then we can bevel. I think we can bevel this. There we go. Just a single bevel. And adjust the thickness. And apply to make it a real mesh. Then we establish the mirror. X, Y, and Z. And assign the same material as the rest of most of the model. And it's black because, or it's dark because we don't have vertex color for it. So set it using where set vertex color, replace. Oops. Pick this one here and also this one. Pick object non-type attributes. Okay. We need to create the we need to create the icon as gun bunkers. We need to create the a vertex color group first. So replace, and then we can pick the color for it. There we go. Same for this other objects here on the card. Let's just create the vertex group color using random vertex color. So object, pick, okay, we want this to be darker. Let's render. There we go. So with this brighter, it gives it a more contrast to the. Well, let's make it darker. Set. There we go. And create. Doesn't inherit the vertex color. Set. And we pick. Okay. So this is our hero model where we have used the add-ons tactically. So I know the shapes are still basic, but at least now we get more. You get a picture of how you can use the add-ons strategically throughout the mesh and not uh, have the Grebel drive the design entirely. So if you want to move this object, oops, this one here, set, replace, pick out an object that has the center, or we will use the center for or the origin point for creating the empty object. Cursor selected and then empty. Shift T and then select the empty and then parent this to the empty. So we can now use it for the scene. There you go. So we used a bunch of stuff to create this. Okay, a combination of random flow and panel cut. And then we have creative flow just being a good support tool, and using random flow on strategic spots rather than the entire thing. With this model, you can render it close up because um, it's your hero or main subject. Looks good. Where's the empty? You want to set the empty back to its original rotation, just press Alt R or F3, type clear rotation. There you go, and press 1. So that's the original rotation. If you wish to duplicate this, duplicate everything, also the empty. So the second duplicate is also being driven by the empty that is also duplicated. So you can have two of this in your scene next to your, as a part of your main or hero subjects. So for example, there's a bunch of this, and then you have another one here, which is a gun, another one here. Yeah. So that is it. So in my socials, in the shorts, forgive me if I'm using it primarily for speed models, which is using primitive shapes mostly, because that's how I save time, and it mostly just demonstrate the tools because I'm not really focused into modeling, and I'm not really going to show you um, how I model or spend my time mostly on manual modeling. So I'm mostly concerned on showing how the tools operate. That's why the really basic base meshes, which you see me post on my socials. Okay, but this doesn't mean that you can't, of course, use it for something like um, a more a more manual design focused workflow. So you can see it here that we did use it for that. You can see the gribble. They look like part of circuitry because of the random shading. This looks like a I don't know, nodes in a circuit board. What do you call this? Now, so they're here. We tried to mix in big shapes and small shapes to not make the gribble too alien from the design and make it work for the design. Okay, so this can go around. You can sell it or sell the idea that this is a like a power unit or a bomb or a or I don't know, a containment device or something. You can change this middle part area here to be something like glass, and then you can use the same workflow to create an innards for that, and then just edit the glass to show a hint of what is inside. So that kind of workflow. Okay, so yeah, that's it. And if you're not convinced, we can try a bit more complicated stuff, but that's going to take a long time uh, to do. But it can be done. Okay, so yeah, this is it for this video. If you have any questions, use the comment section or the Links in the description. Be sure to subscribe and like the video to show it to more people. Yeah. So thank you for watching and have a nice day.